is still, even though they said they fixed it, it's still been iffy. So I'd rather you record so we don't have a bunch of.
We are recording. We're live.
All right. Guys, thanks so much for joining us on our call tonight. We're super, super, super excited, like a kid, to have Kit Caldecott. Is that how you say your last name? Caldecott?
Yes, Caldecott.
Okay. Caldecott on our team call. Man, I've been loving your fitness pictures with the superhero look to them lately.
Oh,
yeah. Yes. But Kit is a fantastic leader in our 5 levels of leadership group that Kelly and I were in. And just every time that she gave a reflection, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I need to hear today. And she also happens to be Tony Horton. I think Tony Horton happens to be her brother, really. But
exactly. There you go.
He says he was a hooligan when he was at the DC Super Saturday, so I'm assuming you're one of the ones that kind of kept him in line. Ooh. But I was wondering if you could just take a minute and tell us a little bit about your story so we can kind of get to know you better. And then I cannot wait to hear your wisdom tonight, too, about how to connect with team members.
Sure. So, yeah, that crazy guy is my big brother. And it's funny because he and I are 7 years apart, so we have a sister in between us, and my sister is just 2 years younger than him. So I feel like my sister and him were closer growing up than he and I were. But, you know, you reach adulthood, and as I got into college, we just got that much more closer. So my quick story is this, and I'm going to apologize if you guys have heard me say this before somewhere else, but so Tony went out to California when he had about just a few credits left to finish in college, which just thrilled the heck out of our parents, right? And he got into acting and blah, blah, blah. And we kind of knew he was getting together with this company called Beachbody, but, you know, I didn't really kind of know. And then he was home for the holidays right after P90X came out. And he was talking to my husband and I about it. And so I'll be 51 in a few weeks. And I was like 39 going on 40 at the time. My kids, I think, were like, I don't know, 6, 4, and 2. I don't know how old they were. But you know that state, if you guys are in that state now or you've been through that state where I was working 50 to 60 hours a week. I had 3 little kids, and getting to the gym and exercise just kind of went out the window. And so he's talking to us about this program and what it is. And he's encouraging my husband and I to try it, to be one of the first people to try it. And I'm like, what? What are you trying to be, like Jack LaLanne or something? And I just thought it was kind of funny. Like, I thought, no one's going to get fit in front of their television set. Like, what are you doing? Like, I thought you were trying to be an actor out there. Like, what is this, you know? So long story short, the box shows up at our house. So we started, it was a few months later. I want to say it was April. And I looked at my husband and I said, okay, we're going to do this, and we're going to do it to the letter. Because in the back of my mind, I kind of wanted to call him up and go, yeah, it's okay, but it doesn't really work. What a nice sister I am, right? But, you know, I had this mentality that if I was going to drop the baby weight that I was carrying and get back in shape, I had to get to the gym. I had to either hire a trainer. Because unlike him, you know, you've heard him tell his story, you know, he was kind of a scrawny kid, and everything he says is true. You know, he would try something and quit, and he wasn't really athletic. But for me, athletics was my outlet. Like, when I grew up, I was a really high achiever type, and that's what got me through school. That's what relieved my stress. When I became a mom, that's what got me through the day. Like, and I was pretty much a runner. Like, that's what I was doing. I was running. So, you know what it's like, dragging 3 little kids to the gym, and then they get sick, and you're like, what am I doing this for? This isn't even worth it. And then you're rushing, and then you're like, I'm sorry, you need to get off the treadmill now because your diaper needs to be changed. And you're like, are you kidding me? Can't you change a diaper? All that stuff that we've all experienced, right? So getting back to the story, we do the program. Halfway through, I get on the scale, haven't dropped a pound. I've gained a pound. And I'm pissed. Hey, your program kind of stinks. I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. I'm on the phone with him. And, you know, he starts talking to me the whole speech that you've heard him say, like, how long has that weight been on? You think it's going to come off in 30 days? What are you eating? I'm having a muffin and a coffee every morning. What's wrong with that? Well, why not just stick a candle in it? Why don't you just have cake for breakfast? What are you doing with your food? Blah, 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 blah. I can't eat all this food, blah, 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 blah. So I finally dial into the nutrition, and most of the weight, it came off like the last 30 days to the point where I was like, wow. I'm doing push-ups and pull-ups. Like I use athletic, but I never did that kind of stuff. And I was just more amazed at what my body could do, right? So here I am. We finish in July. And here's the funny story is we all tended to come home in the summer months because my parents at the times were living in Rhode Island. They lived like 3 miles from the beach, and it was just a great time for us to get together around 4th of July. So the last week, my husband and I were in the last week of P90X, and he's there at my parents, or at my parents. He's like, come on, let's go to the gym. And I go, no, I got to do plyo today. And he's like, but I'm here. We can go do it at the gym. No, I have to do it to the DVD. Because I was like so determined, type A, to like do and I had like 5 more days, and I was going to do it. Because I was afraid if he went to the gym, he'd do something different, and I couldn't really say to Beachbody, I did the whole program. That's how my weird brain worked. So yeah, we did the program, and I was sitting on the beach for the first time that summer and in a bathing suit going, wow, I actually feel pretty good in a bathing suit this summer. And people were coming up to me and asking me what I was doing, and wow, you look great, blah, blah, blah. And this was well before the coaching opportunity even existed. And I used to joke with him that, you know, God, if I had a dime for everybody I told about your stupid program. And then this coaching opportunity came up, and he's like, you might want to get involved in this. You joked with me about a dime. Maybe you could make more than a dime. And I was invited to the founders meeting, you guys, and I didn't go. I didn't go. I had a full-time job. I was working 50 hours a week. I had 3 little kids, and I thought, I can't fit anything else in my life right now. And my mentality was, the way it was presented to me was, it was presented to me like sort of like a job. And I'm like, I don't have time for another job. I'm going to let Beachbody down. So thank you so much, but no. And so then, you know, he was at an event, and Tracy Morrow, as you know, Tracy and her husband Casey were one of the first 2 people to win the first prize. And he got to know Tracy, and he's like, God, you got to meet this girl, Tracy. You guys are so much alike, and she's a mom, and her faith is really strong like yours. You're the only one in our family who has the faith, and you guys really connect. And we did. Sure enough, we connected, and we got to know each other. And then Tracy contacted me a few months later and said, you want to do this thing? And I'm like, I don't know, Tracy. I don't really want to be a salesperson for Beachbody, but okay, I'll just sign up, because why not? And I did. The first, honestly, few years, I treated it like a hobby. I really didn't put a lot of time into it. I didn't put any effort into it. Stupid me. And then I'd be in the grocery store with my P90X shirt on. I had to do a lot of traveling for work. I had those shirts because I just thought they were fun, you know. And every single time someone would come up to me, every single time, do you do that program? I've seen it on TV. What's it really like? Wow, you look great. Look at your arms. Did you get that from the program? And I thought, I'm stupid. This is just too easy. This is too dang easy to have conversations like this. What am I doing? So I started chipping away at it and chipping away at it. And, you know, I kick myself now. I mean, I see all of you guys and so many other people doing in a matter of months what it took me years to figure out, you know. So that's my quick, epic fail story. Next question. Do you still want to hear from me?
I think it's awesome, though, how you're sharing, because how many times do we hear, I don't have time, I don't know if it'll work, how can I do this from home? And so when you hear someone that you look out to that's where you want to follow their feet, went through that themselves, it relates more. You know what I mean? It's not like you swooped in and everything was fairy tale, like, at all.
And you know what, to be honest, everybody's like, oh, you're Tony Horton's sister. And I said this before, I said, I purposely kept him out of the equation, out of the conversation, because I live in New England, and I don't know how many of you on this call are from the Northeast or the eastern part of the country, but there's a natural skepticism here. Like, as opposed to, I find, and I've been in the consulting business for a long time, and I travel the country for work, I used to, and people in the Midwest and the South and even the Western are just so much more open. But here it's like you open your mouth and the first thing they're doing is like, let me see what I can do to dispel that. Why would that not work? Must be a trick. And I felt like when I would mention him as my brother, they would, oh, you're just trying to pitch your brother's stuff. Oh, I know, Mm. And so for the longest time, if I meet someone on a plane or something like that, I wouldn't even mention the relationship. I felt it was more authentic just talking about my personal experience than that connection.
Yeah.
So it does not really give me, sometimes when people see Horton on social media, maybe they look closely. I don't know, maybe.
Right.
But I can't stress it enough. It is about you being you, and people are going to connect with you because of you, and you can't try to be someone else ever.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. Well, I think too, Kit, one thing that really kind of strikes me is like, I think the reason people grow faster now is I have 9 sisters. I'm in the middle of 9 sisters, and I've made some pretty darn good decisions growing up because I had older sisters to learn from. And so I feel like we're so grateful to have that, people like you and Tracy and people who've been there to learn from, because it makes it, we don't have to figure everything out,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And there's absolutely advantages to getting involved in something like this early on. Of course there is, but you've heard a lot of us say that there wasn't anything, there was no online office, there was no tools, there was no videos, there was nothing, and I was that person doing home parties. I'm like, that was so outside my comfort zone to have people over my house and have a home party. I just thought that was so weird. And so, but I did it because that's how I got my name out there, right? And social media didn't exist. We used to walk 4 miles in the snow. No, I mean, it's crazy, but it's true. Like, Facebook didn't exist when this first started. So as soon as social media came on the scene, that changed the game. Of course, that changed the game. But the conversation you have on social media is no different than one you would have face-to-face, right? So it just opens your doors up to meeting so many other people that you would never have a chance to meet. That's all. So anyway, I think you wanted me to talk about leadership tonight. Or I can talk about whatever. I don't care.
You talked about how to lead to your coach's strengths.
Yeah. So I put a little bit of thought into this before. When Michelle asked me to talk on your call, I was like, wow, she wants me to talk on our call? I think you guys have a bigger team maybe than I do, or a pretty large team. But, my background is, as I mentioned, I worked in the training development world for close to, oh my gosh, now how many years has it been now? I'm still in that world, 18 years. I just don't do it full time anymore. And what I did was I worked for a company that designed and developed, oddly enough, skills-based training, selling skills courses, customer service courses, and coaching and leadership courses. And you think that would just easily translate into what I was doing here. But At first, it really didn't. And then we've had this wonderful opportunity, of course, on our team in the last year to work with John Maxwell. But I thought I would just talk about sort of 4 things that I think I've learned in my world there and have almost been reinforced as I've been listening more and working more with John. And just as a show of hands, how many of you on the call have a team? Like you even have one personally sponsored coach. So some of you are getting there. How many, and so of you that have your hands up, how many of you are Emerald or above? Okay. So I think what I'm going to talk about too, even if you don't have a team yet, this is going to translate to how you want to be, how you want to attract people to your team. And so the first thing is as you get folks on your team, or even if you get folks in your challenge group, right? They're connecting with you because they do want to change their behavior. They want to get healthier feet. First and foremost, you really got to understand why they're doing what they're doing. That is the very first thing. One of the things, like if you're getting folks in your challenge group, one of the things that I think we've gotten away with, there was this great 5-step invitation process that was developed by, I forget the name of the coach. But the reason, and that's still somewhere hidden in the back office, but the reason why that was so essential is by the time you got to step 5, that person was all in. They understood what they were doing, why they were doing, and what it was going to take to get there. And the same translates with people coming into your team as a coach. I think once they decide to sign on and they take that step, it's really important for you to dig down and say, okay, what is it about this? And it could be a list of whys, it could be one key why, but ask those questions in that first meeting. What do you want to get out of this? What do you want to gain? How much time do you think you can put into this? What's your real purpose? And I got to tell you, at the beginning, I was afraid to ask those questions. I felt those questions were a little invasive. And part of me was like, well, they signed up to be my coach. Obviously, they want to do it. Like, why do I have to ask that question? And it's so important for you to understand where you think that person's going to be. Because as we all know, it takes finding 3 to 5 leaders. That's it. And there are so many people that just don't end up being those people on your team. And very early on, you'll understand who they are and be able to identify them and really be able to work with them. And those people become your partners in this. And then early on, you'll find out about those people who, quite frankly, don't deserve your time. And that's okay. Like, maybe they do want the discount, or maybe stuff comes up in their life, or they're going to be those people that keep making excuses. And you go, okay, well, some of that's real and some of that's not real. And this is what's going to take to kind of really dig in and do this. And that purpose, that reason has to be really powerful and really strong. Typically, and look inside yourself too, as I'm sort of talking about this, like typically I find it's one of 2 things. Their purpose and their why is kind of weak, or it falls off, or they're not doing the vital behaviors. Like those things have to sort of always happen. And if they're always happening, those are the people that stay in the game. So that's number 1. Understand why they want to do. The other thing is you have to understand what motivates people. And one of the things that we used to teach in our coaching and leadership courses is that, let me have you guys all do this. This is a little activity that we used to do. So let's say it's the end of the day and your spouse, your significant other, your older child, a good friend, I don't know, someone close in your life says to you, "How was your day today, honey?" And you're in a state of mind where you're thinking, it was an awesome day. It was a great day. So on a little piece of paper right now, if you said that, this was an awesome day, What was it about that day that made it great for you? Just write down one little thing. Take a little minute. Be a little music interlude. Da, 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 while you do that. So what made it, if you have an awesome day, what was it about that day that made it great for you? So typically I find people fall into, and not to categorize people, but in general, there are three things that are drivers for people. One is achievement. Another is what I refer to as affiliation. And the third is influence. So achievement, like hitting Success Club, being on the top of the leaderboard. You're one of those people who writes lists and likes to just scrape things, cross it off, right? Tracy Morrow, who's my sponsor, knows I am driven by achievement. And we meet once a month. She's my success partner. And all she had to do to me a couple months ago or something, say, I'm trying to think, like, some of these people make it to Diamond. We're having this conversation fast, some don't. How about if you and I have a challenge and we build a diamond? And I'm like, okay, how long do I have? She's like, I don't know. Let's just do it. Let's just you and I. But she knew in the back of my mind, all she had to do was throw the gauntlet down and give me a target and give me a goal. And that's what would get me going, right? Because I am an achievement-driven person. So you need to find out what motivates your people, because a lot of people, that's not important to them, right? The moneyness. I have people on my team, the money means nothing to them. They've had such an amazing transformation with these products. Their goal, I have a couple guys on my team, they're like, my goal is to help 3 people a month. I want 3 people to get in a program and start using it. I don't care if I make any money. I just want these people to get healthy like I did. So that's what I'm constantly feeding them with. Other people driven by affiliation, those are people who, like, they want to be part of a team. They want to be part of that community, right? Can you think of anybody that you know in your challenge groups or on your team like that? I know I can. And then there's people who are driven by influence. These are people who want to be leaders. They want to have control over certain things, right? So when you think about the people on your team, like, those are the people you go, hey, I've got a great task for you. How about if you take charge of this thing, right? So typically, it's up to you. And again, I went from the corporate world managing people to this. And this all felt very weird to me because I thought, well, this is your business. Like, I don't have a right to sort of tell you what to do or guide you in a certain way. And I also just expect you to kind of go do it because I'm achievement driven. I expected everybody on my team to be achievement driven. It's like, nah, right? And we have a tendency to teach people in a way, like, we learned it a certain way and we kind of figured it out in a certain way. And we assume that people have the same learning style as us. And that's just not true either. Like, it's up to us to find out what motivates people, what drives them, and communicate, give tasks, give assignments driven toward those in a way that appeals or aligns with that driver, and also explain things in a way that aligns with that learning style. Some people are visual learners. Some people are real thinkers. Some people, whatever it is, you have to sort of learn how to adapt how you learned and not necessarily impart that style on that person. Does that make sense? Okay. So understanding their why, deciding what motivates them. So I'm curious, anybody willing to volunteer what they wrote down? What makes it a great day for them? Go ahead, Michelle.
I left raise my, I was the hand raiser in school. I was like, shoot, I should have let someone else raise their hand. We should let someone else go too.
I have a hint of what your driver is just based on the action that you just did. But go ahead.
I worked out and I signed up a coach, and I'm going to sign up a second coach.
Okay. So what do you guys think based on achievement, affiliation, or influence? Anybody have a thought? She worked out, check. She's going to sign up a coach, check. I'm going to sign up another coach, check. Achievement, Jill, is pretty, would you say that's true of yourself? Are you pretty achievement driven? And also, Michelle, I'm running for a pageant. I'm writing a book. I'm managing a household. I have 14,000 children. I was like, I just look at her post and I'm like, oh my God. I thought I was achievement driven. I'm like, I am a slacker next to Michelle. Complete slacker. All right, how about somebody else? Somebody else want to share? Don't be shy. Jamie.
Mine was that I completed everything on my to-do list today.
Also pretty. What would you say you are, given how I just those three?
I'm very achievement driven, I would say, of myself. I like things to get done the way that I like to get them done.
Yeah. Have you ever written something on a to-do list that you did that wasn't on a to-do list only to be able to cross it off? Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is so lame and pathetic, isn't it? But I do that.
Yep.
Anyway, how about somebody else? Anybody have anything non-achievement written down? Just curious.
I said I had good snuggle time with my girl today.
Say it again, Jill. I couldn't hear you.
I had really good snuggle time with my baby today.
Ah. All right. Well, that's certainly a great day. But in terms of your business, if you had a great day in your business, was there something in particular that went well for you?
Oh, I thought you meant just in general. Yeah, it would.
That would be a good day for me too if my 15-year-old actually decided to actually snuggle with me. In fact, that would be off the charts because teenagers don't snuggle. But
I know, I'm enjoying it now while it lasts. But yeah, mine's more to-do list oriented too. Had a good conversation. Someone reached out to me and said, "Okay, ready to get rid of the belly." And I was like, "Yeah." So it works out. Good timing.
And we tend to attract, people that are like us too. So that's good. Sometimes I think sometimes when we struggle with leading people is when we have very different drivers or different learning styles. Because we're like, come on, don't you get it? I don't understand why you don't get it. Like, why aren't you just doing what I'm telling you to do, right? So, okay. So thank you for playing that game. The third thing, and I'm going to mention 4, by the way. So it's the number 1 is understanding why they want to do. It's understanding their why, understanding what motivates them and how they learn. Number 3 is, and I got to tell you, this is where I struggle, but I'm learning this is so key, and it's staying in constant contact with people. And when I say that, it's about staying in contact with those folks who you identify want to engage in this business, and also with those coaches early on, with your new coaches. So one of the things that really hit home with me with John Maxwell, and this was something I circled and highlighted when we were going through leadership, he talks about equipping people. And he says, how does a leader equip people to do their work and succeed at it? John says the best method he's ever found is a 5-step equipping. 1, I do it. 2, I do it and you are with me. 3, you do it and I'm with you. 4, you do it, now you're empowered, right? And then 5, you do it and someone else is with you. That's the duplication. So you do it is you show your own competence. I do it and you're with me. I'm more in a demonstration mode, right? I'm sort of modeling the behavior for you. You do it and I'm with you. Now it's a coaching thing. You do it, now you're empowered, and then you do it with someone else. And there's so many different ways you can do that, right? You can do 3-way calls. It's funny, early on we didn't have anything to do in this business. I used to do 3-way calls with Tracy all the time. I'd be like, I don't know, I got somebody interested. I don't know how to explain this thing. Can you just get on the phone and just do your thing and you just talk and I'll be in the background. She would do that. And then after like 3 phone calls, I said, Tracy, I got it. Like, I've heard the story. It was like the whole Beachbody story. She just told it so well because she was there from the beginning. Like, she was at that founders meeting and she heard the explanation from Carl and why this started. And I think we've gotten away from that as a company. I think it's very powerful for people to understand, you know, we're a virtual company. We sell stuff by infomercial. And I tell a story, and I don't know if this is all the way true, but this is something that I heard that, you know, Beachbody would be calling their customers and going, hey, Michelle, thanks for ordering Brazil butt lift. What do you think? And a lot of people go, it's still in the box. Still in the box? Like, why is it still in the box? I don't know. I saw, you know, Erin, she looks great on there. Her butt was so great. And I bought that thing and it came, but, you know, I got to work and I got kids and I just haven't opened the box yet. So as a company, like, we got to get people to open the box. And who better to do that than all these people who opened the box and said, not only did I open the box, I just listened to what the guy said. Tony told me to march in place. I marched in place and I just did it. And I feel amazing now. So we have this title of coach, but here's what's really cool. It's not a sales job. We just kind of share our own personal experience. Like, I didn't have to get a nutritional degree. I didn't have to learn about food because the thing taught me about food. And I just tell people to do what I learned from the thing. And it's like you coming out of a movie and you saying, oh, that movie stunk. Don't go see that movie. I'm not going to go see the movie because I trust your opinion, right? So why wouldn't I trust your opinion about this thing that made you look amazing and makes you feel amazing? So like, I would hear her sort of tell her version of the story, and then I would make that story my own. I would say it like I understood it and like I could communicate it. So there's 3-way calls. There's, you know, I do a live coaching opportunity now the first Sunday of every month. You are all welcome to invite whomever you want to that. I'm a Horton and I talk a lot. I'm really trying to get it down to 30 minutes, 20 minutes. Sometimes it's a longer, but it's an opportunity for my team to sort of invite people to hear what this is all about. And we answer those most common questions like, what is it? How do we earn money? How do we help people? You know, and it's this way, and I share my screen and there's some slides and blah, blah, blah. So there's all different ways for you to sort of do that. I do it and you're with me. And sometimes you have to do that for a little while. But then you got to, like, at some point you got to cut the cord, right? Like, go off to college and live your life and don't move back in with me. You know, that's my dream for my children. Like, I love them, but I want them to live their lives. Same with my coaches. Like, ideally, you want to create 5 of you, right? Raise your hand if you're with me. You want to attract and create 5 of you. So that takes a little bit of that, you know? So here's so it's about equipping them in those ways. When you speak with them, I don't know what you guys do. If you have Zoom calls or if you have one-on-one calls, the one thing that I have learned is I let that person speak first. You know, when I was managing people and we'd sit down and have a coaching conversation, what would I do? I would say, Angie, how was your month? What's working well? What have you been doing? Last time we agreed that you were going to take these actions. How are you coming along with those actions? What are you going to do differently? But it's so weird. When I started in this, I felt like I had to be the teacher. I was the one doing all the talking. And I'm like, stop. Like, let that person come to you first and say, and you know those are your leaders, right? The ones who come to the meeting and go, okay, so I've got a challenge group set up. I got 3 people in. I got 2 people that are probably going to buy a challenge pack, and it's going great. Awesome. So let that person see first. The other tip is balanced feedback. So what do I mean by balanced feedback? I'm going to start by talking about what I think you're doing well. You know, Rebecca, what I think is so awesome is that you seem to be inviting each and every day. I'm looking at your business activity tracker, and you've got 10 invites, you've got 12 invites, you've got 15 invites. That's awesome. You're putting yourself out there, you're sharing. One of the things that I'd love to be able to see is how many of those are converting. So, you know, tell me, what do you think, why are you struggling? Why aren't you able to convert? You know, so it's about giving balanced feedback. You got to let people know what they need to do differently or better, right? And then walk away with clear action steps. And this is something I still struggle with too. Like, before you hang up the phone with that coach, before you walk away from that conversation, here's what I'm going to do. Here's my responsibility. Here's what you're going to do. So the next time we meet, it's not like, hey, how's it going? You know, that's how people move forward. So stay in constant contact, equip them using John's model, let them speak first, give balanced feedback, and walk away with clear action steps from every conversation. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was, I wrote down, is prioritizing and balance. I think, you know, and I may be a little bit ahead for some of you all, but as you start building a team and as you start growing this, the big struggle for a lot of people is this balance between working with their people and getting them to grow, but you still have this recruiting effort you have to do on your own. And every single day you have to look at, what are the behaviors that are going to give me the biggest bang for my buck? And I'm going to be so laser focused on that. And I'm to the point now where it's funny. I'll share this stupid little thing I have. This is underneath my book. So this is my daily behaviors, and it's under cellophane so I can check them off with a white erase marker, and then I erase them the next day. And then I have certain things I do every day of the week. So Mondays, this is in addition to my 5 invites, my 5 connects, my 5 follow-ups. Like Mondays, I leave a motivational message for my coaches or a tip. Tuesdays, I'm checking my back office and my leads, and I'm following up with those. Wednesdays, I'm checking team volume. I call my recognition Wednesday. That's the day I give recognition. I don't do that every day. I do that once a week. I know it's a vital behavior. I also don't believe in like recognizing people for the sake of recognizing them. It's got to be pretty amazing. Thursdays is my social media content day. That's when I do my hair and my makeup. And I record videos. You know, I'll set aside a half hour. I get out 3 different outfits and shirts, and then I try to do that. Like, I spend 40 minutes, you know, if it's creating a picture with a quote, it's a video tip or whatever it is, that's my video content day. Friday, I leave messages or for my emeralds and above. And then Saturday's sort of, for me, kind of a day off a little bit. I still do my invites, but then Sundays, I've been writing a blog weekly for the past 4 years. I try to do it every week. Sunday, I write my blog, and on Sunday night, I sit down and I plan my social media content for the week. I try to post twice a day, and what are those posts going to be? And that's when I make my list for the coming week. Who am I going to follow up with? Who am I going to contact? So that's how I figured out, because I was all over the place. Like, And I still am some days, let's be honest. I sit down and I don't have the newsfeed eradicator like Tracy suggests, and I get sucked into that freaking thing. And what are you doing? Stop it. Right? Focus. I get there too. But this helps me. I go, okay, Thursday, video day, up, take a shower, do your hair, do your workout first, do your hair, and bang it out, you know. You might do it differently. I don't know. I'm always open to ideas on how to approach that. So, and I've been talking for a really long time. I'm sorry, you guys. Is this too long?
Oh, this is awesome. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is amazing.
I've taken like 5 pages of notes.
Oh, all right, good. Okay. And Michelle's like, can you leave some time for Q&A? People are like, I gotta go to bed after this. So that's it. I'll shut up now, and I'm an open book, so feel free to ask me questions.
I had a question here.
I'm not looking at the chat. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's fine. We're just smarting off and having fun and enjoying the whole process. But shoot, tell me what you think you're doing well. Look at your bats. This is what you seem to be doing well today. Look at okay. You said you look at your coach's bats. Like, do you have your emeralds and a bub or whatever coaches send their bat into you?
Yes. So I do my Zoom similar to what Tracy does. I have Coaching 101 Zoom. Mine are on Wednesday nights. So my new coaches come from like 8:15 to 8:45, and then my emeralds and above 8:45. And it's funny, the new coaches often want to stay on. Can we stay even though I'm like, yeah, because they're benefiting from that other conversation. And you know, the bat is really for who? It's not for me. It's for you. It's for you to track your behavior. But what the bat helps me see is where you're spending your time. If you're being really honest on that bat, I'm better apt to give you balanced feedback, right? And if I'm seeing like 0, 2, 1, I'm going to look at you and go, this ain't going to cut it. I mean, I wish I could tell you it would, but to connect today, you're going to build, but a lot slower than most. And some people will struggle with like, what is that and how you define it? And it's like nothing more than someone commented on my post. I go to their page. I look at their page. I try to find something in common. Ooh, they have kids. They have teenagers. They live in New England. And I send them a message and I say, hey, thanks for the like on my post. This is literally what I do. I'm curious how you found me. I'm curious what caught your eye. And they go, oh, I've been following you. It's crazy how many people say, I've been following you and I've been looking at your posts and blah, blah, blah. Or that really struck me, that quote really struck me. Or I was having a bad day and that really resonated with me that day. And then it's just a back and forth conversation. It's not, oh, I'm so glad it resonated with you. Do you have a coach through Beachbody? I would love to be your coach. It's well, thank you very much. I appreciate your comment. You know, I see you've got teenagers. How's that going? Weird face, you know. Whatever, we just start chatting. It takes time. But if people get to know you better, I mean, it's about, for me, it's not about building fast. It's about building strong relationships where people stick. I want people to stick. I don't want people to come in and out. You know, do you walk into a cocktail party and someone goes up to you and says, how do you know Mary and John who are hosting the party? Mary and John are neighbors. Want to buy a challenge pack? Like, you wouldn't do that at a cocktail party, so why would you do that on social media? I don't know, you know, it's saying. It's just a different medium. It's just a different forum to have a conversation. But I always teach my team, it's like having a live conversation. You're just doing this with your fingers versus this, right?
I love that. I had the analogy the other week. I told some coaches, like, it's like asking someone for coffee to get to know them. It's not asking them to get married. Like, you wouldn't meet someone and say, hey, it's good to see you. You want to get married? Like, you just want to have coffee and then maybe go on a couple more, but not, because I think I used to jump too soon, and you're so right. Like, the simpler, like Angie Bradley she gave feedback to us with posts where someone likes our post, and I used it. So I just shot a message, thank you for liking my post, because it was like a transformation. I shared just like what was going on in my fitness. It's hard to be vulnerable, and it means a lot to have your support. Mm-hmm. That started just conversations, and I didn't say, do you want to join my challenge group? I just more started like, oh, I see you have kids, just like you're saying.
Yeah. And again, it's some people will have that conversation, some won't. So you have to be a little bit more, I have to be honest with you. When Facebook first come out, it's a place where people brag about their kids. It's stupid. Who's Facebook really? What do I need to be on Facebook for? So that was my mentality, and it was really hard for me to understand how to have a conversation here, because I felt like I was creeping into people's personal lives when it wasn't my right to do so. It's like, why would I ask that question of someone? They don't even know me. But you start putting yourself out there more. You start representing your brand more, what you believe in. This is what I do. I keep these little things are everywhere. I have in my purse these long Post-it notes, and I'll be driving around. Like today, I had to go pick up my son. He has a summer job at our local homemade ice cream place. And he's like, Mom, I got a couple people in line, and I'm in the car, and I'm just, stuff strikes me, and I write down stuff I want to post about. I was listening to Gary Vaynerchuk, and he was talking a lot about authenticity and confidence. And I started thinking about this conversation my mom had with me about when I was younger. And I'll share the quick story. So my mom graduated. My mom was one of 6 kids, big Italian family. She was lucky enough to go to college, felt that was a real right. She graduated with a business degree in 1956, a woman. She was vice president. My mother was a hot shit, man. She graduated vice president of her class. She was captain of the cheerleaders. So she couldn't get a job. She said, Kit, in that day and age, nobody would hire a woman because they all thought we were going to go off and get married and have kids. And she sat me down. Here it was 1980. I graduated from college in 87, so 4 years later. She said, this is the 80s. The economy is amazing. She's like, not that being a mother isn't the best thing in my life, but live your life. Like, if you're going to get a degree, like, get a job, show your talent. And she encouraged me to work first, basically, because I think she felt like she didn't have that. And she built that level of confidence in me. Be confident that you can do anything you want. She said, in this day and age, you can and you will. So when she came out of college, she couldn't find a job. So she answered an ad to TWA. My mother became a flight attendant. And she tells the story about how when she was in the interview, she had to stand up and they had to lift their skirt to show their legs. And she's like, and my sister and I were like, oh my God, Mom, I hope you didn't do that. That's awful. Like, I can't believe that, here we are, in this day and age going, that's ridiculous. And my mother said, are you kidding? I had great legs. I proudly stood up and I lifted my skirt and showed them. Because she was like, that was my best asset, was my legs. So my point of my story is, like, you all have experiences like that in your life, right? You have things that touch you. You have things that influence you. Write about that. Share that. And the hard part is like, how do I get people to notice that? You know, if you have to spend a little bit of money for some college kid or high school kid, like that's what I did. I have some young kid, I go, here's a quote. Can you just make it look good? Like, get a picture, do something, do the right font. Like if that's not your expertise, you have the ideas, you know what you want to say, you know what you want to present, spend a little money to have somebody just make that stuff look good. And, you know, you'll laugh, but I mount my phone in front of my window over there because that's where the natural light comes in. And that's how I do my videos. You know, I learned that the natural light makes you look great. It kind of smooths out the wrinkles and stuff. I'm still learning that stuff. My videos aren't great. I mean, yeah, Caleb Thomas, he's like the video king. I'm never going to spend all the time he spends in the editing room. But if something occurs to me, you know, work from your strengths. Maybe on camera you're not great, but maybe you're great at quotes, or maybe you can visually make something look good. Do that. But just be you. Share more about you, and you'll be amazed at how many people will follow you. And teach your team that too. Like today, I have my PS coach team in an interest group. So you can do interest groups, right, on Facebook. And that way I see their posts, and I'm trying to get better at giving them feedback on their posts. Like one of my coaches, Sarah Bell, today, she posted a picture. She's got the 21-day fix TV this big in the frame, but it's her face. Like that, pointing. And her post was, yeah, just did that over. Like, and her face was clearly like, I'm so glad I'm done. But it was her and her face. And I go, that's like, immediately that caught my eye. I'm like, that was awesome. Keep doing those. Like the big face, like that'll be your brand. I have another guy, Tony Solera. He's a goofball, but he does these videos where he does a quick little song. I did 22-minute hardcore and I'm feeling pretty crappy, but it's feeling good. It's goofy, and but he's building a following because I'm like, Tony, keep doing that. Keep doing that. Because now people are going to be like, where's the funny video from Tony? You know, so and I believe you guys, for the longest time, I was like, what's different about me? I'm just another middle-aged woman who's trying to be fit. Like, why is that unique? Why is that different? You know, I'm a mom. What's different about that? But we all grew up in a family with certain values and beliefs and stuff that molded, informed us. Talk about that. Be positive, though. Don't be the whiner. Don't be the complainer. Talk about how you moved through that, how you overcame that challenge.
You know, something that someone that I talked to a few years ago when I was first starting this journey said to me was, and she was in marketing, she says, let people see your story. Because it's like following a movie. They want to know what the next, what happens next in the story. And that's why it's so important to be our authentic selves, because we can't fake ourselves. You know what I mean? Like eventually they're going to see through it. Like you're talking about Crush It, I'm imagining, with Gary Vaynerchuk. Mm-hmm. Where he talks about being authentic. And he said, they're going to see through it if we're not authentic. We think we're alone. I think I cried a few times when I first posted my first real post because I thought that everyone was going to hate me and see that I really was weird. But what I found is that I wasn't alone. So,
and you can talk more easily about stuff you're passionate about, stuff you know about, right? You know, I see other people's posts and I'm like, oh, that's such a good idea. But I don't know anything about that. Like, what do I know about that? I can't talk about that, you know? So, you know, whatever it is, it's silly stuff. Like my two high schoolers in the morning, this is the conversation. Liam, are you going to make the shakes this morning? No, I had to get in the shower. You were going to make the shakes. No, you said you were going to do it. Oh my God, Mom, can you just make the shakes? And I'm going, oh my God, they're arguing about the shakes. I'm so excited. Like, so it's silly, but like I posted about that. Like I don't drink a shake every day. It's not necessarily me. But I have influenced my two kids, instead of having a bagel at school, empty freaking calories, now they're drinking shake every morning. So I even thought about recording their conversation, but I don't think they'd like that too much.
That's awesome.
So like stuff like that happens in your life, right? You go, ooh, you got to have this, and you got to write it down. Like that's something. I don't know what that is. That could be something. I'll figure that out later. But it could be a post of some kind. You know?
Yeah, that's a great idea. I guess when you think of it that way. I don't know how many posts I've had in my head that I forget about later.
Oh God, I can't remember what I ate for dinner 2 hours ago. So everything's got to be written down for me.
My life is in mental posts.
It's a big movie that runs through my head. It's a really good movie, but never comes out on paper.
That's awesome. Wow. Well, I think, thank you so much. There's so much information. I took a ton of notes. I'll post those in Team Fearless, guys. But that is just a lot of really awesome information. And I really love your little scripts for the people you talk to who've liked your stuff, I really like that. Like I made a script, I wrote it down. But thank you so much for joining us tonight and taking the time out of your busy day. This has been awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. It was great meeting you gals. And private message me if you would like to ever invite anybody to the live webinar that I do. I'll send you the Zoom login, and you're welcome to do that. It's 8:00 Eastern, the first Sunday of every month.
Yeah,
so
I would love to come check it out and just
yeah.
And honestly, I would love your feedback too. Honest feedback, like Kit, you talk too much. Kit, your slides look schlocky, or honestly, because I'm always trying to make it better.
Okay.
So I appreciate your honest feedback.
No, I think that would be great. That's what I love about this team. I feel like we're always leaning on and helping with each other. It's not like figure it out yourself. Like,
yeah,
help you. Don't figure it out yourself because you'll waste a lot of time and repeat mistakes that other people already made.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing too that is a little perk. Tony will often do sort of a little private motivational call for my team. So if you guys want to be invited to that, let me know. I mean, it's shocking to me. I mean, you guys have heard him talk. I mean, I know he's my brother and I love him, but if you're in a place in your life where you're just down and out or you're not motivated, you get on the phone with him and you come off that call and you go, I'm going to build a ladder to the moon right now. Because he just energizes you and he motivates you. And I say this to my team, I'm like, he'll do this like a couple times a year when I can find him and he's not somewhere. So invite people to it. Like just invite people to it. Yeah. Not like hoping to get a program or a sale out of it, just to let people know this is what this community is all about. Like these are the kind of people that lift you up. So we're together again around the 4th of July. I know it's a tough time, but I'm thinking about doing one then. And actually sort of like a Zoom, like he and I may be together and I just sort of interview him. So I might have to expand my Zoom capacity. Open it up.
That would be
but
awesome.
I want to keep it to our team. You know what I mean? Like Tracy Morrow, I don't want it to go out to the world. And I'm always telling my team, like, don't broadcast the Zoom login. Like it's your benefit to say, hey, you want to be part of this? Message me. Then you know who's going to be on and who you can follow up with,
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. I heard him speak at Super Saturday and I'd never heard his story before. All I knew was he did P90X and he was funny and he just seemed like more authentic to me and that was it. But when I heard his story, I thought this is what Beachbody in my eyes is about.
Yeah.
It's about life changing completely, and 22-minute hardcore. I love it because it's military men and women and they're all wearing clothes. Praise be to Jesus. But
and they look normal.
Yeah.
They look normal, and it's military. So.
No, that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Awesome.
I'll post it in Tracy's PS page if it happens and if I can nail them down.
Is that the Finish Line Leaders?
So, you guys are, none of you guys are her PS coaches, right?
No.
Who's your coach that's sponsored by Tracy? Do you know? Who's your upline?
Rebecca is Summer sponsored.
Rebecca Bain?
Rebecca Bain is my coach.
So I'll post it with Rebecca, and I'm sure she'll get it down to you guys.
Oh, yeah, she'd be awesome. Awesome.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your wisdom and your time.
Oh, my pleasure.
Awesome.
Good night.